Hey, Zoe, what do you think of the Supreme Court ruling against DOMA? I don't know. I think it's kind of gay. But then again, I think DOMA's kind of gay too. So what do you say we crack open a bottle of Shiraz and get cozy with this commentary, baby?
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
So, do I think there needs to be a constitutional amendment to protect marriage between a man and a woman and make same-sex marriage unlawful? No. DOMA isn't necessary either. What's needed is less people who learn the law only to manipulate it to suit their selfish and self-righteous worldview. I know what y'all are thinking. Zoe, if you're for traditional marriage, how could you be against DOMA? Easy. Liberals are always misunderstanding the things they always try to throw in people's face. And unfortunately, too many Republicans are going along with them. Liberals are always throwing the First Amendment and the 14th Amendment in our face. Yet their understanding of them is about as shallow as a puddle of gnat urine. They keep yammering on about the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. I'm gonna give y'all yet another example of how selfish liberals and the proponents of gay marriage are. They only see themselves in that clause. Screw equal protection for others, we're just looking at what's due us. And what we want is marriage and all the benefits that come with it. I'm sure they'll disagree and say, we're for equal protection for everybody, Zoe. Shut up. You're pro-abortion. Don't talk to me about equal protection. And if you liberals really understood equal protection, then you know that the church is equally protected too. Your selfishness and self-righteousness kind of blinds you from accepting that, I know. But let's look at that other amendment that you liberals keep trying to throw in our face. The first one, where it speaks against prohibiting free religious exercise. That is the first right in the First Amendment. Religious freedom takes position over speech, the press, your assemblies, and anything else that makes your butt hurt. That's a redress of grievances for all you squares. Equal protection means there's a balance of protection, but you liberals are too selfish to see balance. I hear from liberals things like the people got it wrong and the Supreme Court is needed to set things right, as if the courts are a panel of benevolent gods appointed to us from another galaxy. What, you mean like the Supreme Court ruling on the Dred Scott decision and their ruling to make abortion legal? Both based on disqualifying personhood, mind you. Interesting. But then liberals get into spin mode, and that's when they say that the people got it right and the courts were wrong. Oh, whatever. It's easy for libs to assign blame on the court or the people, but never to themselves. I hear liberals and the proponents of gay marriage leaning on the black struggle, and it saddens me when I see blacks like Leo Terrell lending themselves to it. I'm not gonna go in depth on that in this video because it wouldn't do it justice to try to cram it all into this commentary. If you wanna get down to the nitty gritty of how things like interracial marriage and same-sex marriage are not a comparable dynamic, please get a copy of my audiobook, Weapon of Mass Destruction, available at my website, AlfonZoRachel.com. I will say this though, liberals try to bring up anti-miscegenation to get sympathy votes from blacks, yet y'all vote for the party that imposed anti-miscegenation laws. Oh, I know, it was all white folks in general. Yeah, white folks who elected people to represent them, and those white people voted for Democrats because they could count on Democrats to legislate their bigotry. So again, I'll point out the irony of liberals trying to bolster their argument for gay marriage by bringing up laws against interracial marriage, while liberals and the majority of the black community vote for Democrats. Here's some more irony for you. Gays want a license to be married. Why? The worst thing about me and my wife's marriage is the fact that we had to get a license for it. Since you libs like to bring up how marriage was denied to interracial couples, well, part of how they enforce anti-miscegenation laws was by denying a marriage license. And now here it is, y'all want a license, leaning on the sympathy vote of the black community by bringing up how interracial couples couldn't get a license while voting for the Democrat Party, the party that was denying licenses in the first place. You can try to say it was just white people in general all you want. White people just can't make laws. They elect representatives for that. And like I said, the representatives they counted on for bigoted-based laws were Democrats. Yeah, but Zoe, that was a long time ago. That was in the past. You're always bringing up the past. Shut up. I'll bring it up whenever you liberals make some pathetic and parasitic attempt to go into the past and leech off the plight of the black community for your cause. Don't even try to accuse me of dwelling on the past when your head is stuck there. What is it about you liberals calling yourselves progressives while always having your head stuck in what's behind you? Liberals are the ones who are always saying your vote doesn't count, your vote doesn't count. Yet when they don't get their way, they sue the public to make sure the people's vote doesn't count, as they bestow all powers to the courts to take liberties with the Constitution. For example, the people voted to keep marriage between a man and a woman here in California. Liberals said, screw the people. Their vote doesn't count. So I guess context is key when liberals say your vote doesn't count. Y'all, every state is free to experiment, but their experiments cannot violate the supreme law of the land and our God-given rights to which we're all equally protected. So when people say that same-sex marriage is an issue that should be decided in the states, I say, wrong. It's not even an issue that should be taken up because the people using their state to impose same-sex marriage violates the clause of equal protection. Same-sex couples will want to be married in churches. Don't think for a second they won't. And if the church says no, as they adhere to the laws of God over the laws of liberals, the church will be punished for so-called discrimination, despite their supposed guarantee of equal protection, which gets down to the core of it. This isn't about redefining marriage. It's about undefining marriage and undoing the church. Don't you liberals talk to me about tolerance. I'm far more friendly to homosexuals than most of you are, as you liberals use the most vitriolic homoerotic insults against people you hate. And many entertainers use homosexuality in derogatory and demeaning assertions. But it's okay because they excuse themselves of it by saying, we don't care who you marry. Yet, I don't use any such language, but I'm the gay basher. All I say is that you can't have your rights at the forced expense of others. That's equal protection. That's the balance of freedom. What grown consenting folks do in their privacy is their business. But despite y'all saying keep your nose out of our bedrooms, y'all are the ones pushing your bedroom into the public and are demanding public endorsement. Y'all, I don't want a marriage license. Marriage is joined by love, not by law. The Lord, love, and natural law keeps my wife and I together, not the state. And if you're of the same sex and you feel love for each other, then let that be your bind and let that be your business. But once you involve the state, you force the public into your marriage. Now it's our business. Those spousal benefits that you want are afforded by the taxpayer, which means you forced your marriage to be our business. And I don't think it's fair that the public is forced to pay for anybody's spousal benefits. This will happen with civil unions too. The state should not be involved in marriage. Liberals will say, well, the state should be involved in marriage to protect the marriage. Wrong. The state is being involved to destroy it. People are talking about how the younger voters are supporting same-sex marriage. What do these college-age voters know? What kind of view do many of these kids have about marriage in a country where half the marriages end in divorce? Their perception of marriage is already disenchanted from being raised by single parents. And you want to trust the opinions of these know-it-all college students when it comes to marriage? A generation that has been raised to see marriage as a joke and a failed institution? And somehow the institution of marriage is going to be repaired, redeemed, and held together with the legalization of gay marriage? That would be like saying you could hold garden hoses together by holding male-to-male or female-to-female ends together. I'm AlfonZo Rachel with Zo Nation, where we knew someone like Clarence Thomas would get attacked with some fantasy analogy like Jews voted for Hitler. Meanwhile, in reality, the black community actually does vote for the party of forced slavery, the KKK, segregation, anti-miscegenation, and eugenics. The majority of the black community votes for the party that was an inspiration to Hitler with their own brand of apartheidism. And they vote for the party that has an affinity for socialism. And it just so happens that Nazis were socialists. Liberals, more backward than taking birth control after having sex and wanting someone else to pay for it. Oh, wait. I don't know. I think it's kind of gay.